Hello everyone, let us check out the class 8 biology half yearly exam solutions. So let us start with the MCQs first. The female reproductive part of the flower is pistil. A teacher asks her students about which part of plant are involved in vegetative propagation. Ethan says flower, so remember the key word here is vegetative propagation. So flowers cannot be a part of it. So John, Nancy and Stephen, they are the ones who are speaking correctly. The non-essential parts of a flower are sepals and petals. Androecium and gynoecium are essential parts because flower is a reproductive organ. So ये non-essential parts हैं. Which of the following is a group of micronutrients? Copper, zinc, molybdenum. The study of interactive relationship between the living and the non-living in an environment is called ecosystem. This is ecology, right? The study is called as ecology. This is not ecosystem. This is ecology. All right. What is common to these pictures? So you can see over here, these are all stem modifications. These all three pictures. They are all underground stems, correct? They propagate vegetatively, correct? They do not produce viable seeds, correct? So all of these will be the correct option. When evaporation of water takes place directly from the surface of the leaves, this is called stomatal transpiration. So you see lenticels, bark, cuticle, also they are part of the plant. But if you think about the surface of the leaves, then the stomata are found on the surface of the leaves. So that is stomatal transpiration. Achha, some say that if it is taking place from the surface of the leaf, so cuticle also could be an option. But let us see if someone has written cuticular transpiration. But you should go with the stomatal transpiration. Alright. Now let us move on to the next questions. Sanjay says that cow is a herbivore and Vijay says that it is a primary consumer. Both are right because a herbivore is a primary consumer, right? Communicable diseases are also called as infectious diseases because they spread the infection. Green plants trap solar energy and convert it into chemical energy. Acquired immunodeficiency syndrome could develop due to, so this was the option given to you. The correct answer is HIV. When the molecules of a solvent move from a region of higher concentration to lower concentration through a semi-permeable membrane, it is osmosis. Production of new organisms from the existing organisms of the same species is known as reproduction. Over here, the parts that you are supposed to mark are, this is pollen grain, this is the pollen tube, and this is the zygote. Some have written sigma, style and ovary. No, this is stigma, this is style and this is ovary. But A part is exine or a pollen grain, B part is the pollen tube, and C part you see over here is the zygote. So option D is correct. Which of these is correctly matched? Yellow fever is a viral disease. Dengue is also a viral disease. So only 1 and 4 are correctly matched. Now let us look at question number 2. Name the following. This is movement of mineral ions from low concentration to high concentration is active transport. The type of reproduction involving two parents is sexual reproduction. Organisms that feed on dead and decaying plants and animals, saprophytes. You can also write decomposers over here, right? But remember, they are not decomposers. Also is correct. They are not scavengers because scavengers are animals that feed on dead animals. Drugs that alter our behavior, either psychotropic drugs or narcotics, both the options are correct. Disease causing organisms, pathogens. Now let us look at state, true or false. Herbivores are also called as producers. So you can write green plants are also called as producers, or you can write herbivores are also called as primary consumers. So if you are changing this part. Decomposers are carnivores that feed on dead animals. You can write scavengers are carnivores that feed on dead animals, or decomposers are microorganisms that feed on dead animals. So they should be correlative with this part and this part. Yeast reproduces by binary fission. So either you can write amoeba or bacteria reproduce by binary fission, or you can write yeast reproduces by budding. Zygotes are the cells that fuse during sexual reproduction. No, gametes are the cells that fuse during sexual reproduction. Female Culex mosquito is the vector for malaria. No, female Culex mosquito is vector female Anopheles mosquito. किसी ने लिखा है फीमेल क्यूलेक्स मस्किटो इज वेक्टर फॉर सम अदर डिजीज सो dengue I don't know which disease they have written, but you need to correct this. That was not Aedes female Aedes mosquito is the vector for that illness. That I forget what you wrote. Now match the following: zygote fertilization, anthers pollination, root hairs absorption, killed germs vaccination, water vapor transpiration. This was an extra option. Choose the odd one out and name the category to which the others belong. This is what you are supposed to mention, the category of others. Xylem parenchyma, others are dead elements of xylem. Tissue culture, here part of stem is used in grafting, layering, cutting. One student I saw, she has chosen grafting as the odd one out because she said that in layering, tissue culture and cutting only one plant, parent plant is used, whereas in grafting 2 parent plants are used. That is also correct. Cow, bacteria, lion, rabbit. Bacteria are decomposers or bacteria is microorganism, whereas other 3 are consumers or they are mammals, whichever way you want to write it. If it is logical, you will get marks for that. AIDS, chikungunya, plague, rabies. So all the rest of them, plague is a bacterial disease. Other than that, all these 3 are viral diseases. China rose, wheat, pea, salvia. Wheat is wind pollinated. China rose, pea, salvia, they are rest of them I think it should have been others are insect pollinated. So the correct option over here should be let me erase this. It should be the others you have to mention, right? So others here we can write they are insect pollinated, or you can also mention salvia. Salvia is cross pollinated, where all the rest of other 3 they are self pollinated. Okay, that also, but wheat is not self pollinated. Tick. China rose, wheat and pea, they are self pollinated, and salvia is cross pollinated. So that is also a correct option. MMR vaccine is given for prevention from measles. Organisms that depend on others for their food are termed as consumers or heterotrophs. Both of them are correct. Care given to sick or injured person, first aid. Dash is a type of micropropagation, tissue culture. Vaccines that do not provide long-term immunity require booster doses, right? So you have to mention it clearly as to what the answer should be. Now let us move on to section B. Rani says potato propagates through roots. Is she correct? Give reason. No. Potatoes, many have written yes. No, how is it? Potato is an underground stem. It propagates through its stem. That is what you have to give. So if you say yes, then automatically answer तुम्हारा गलत हो गया. Write one difference between self-pollination and cross-pollination based on the definition with examples. So self-pollination में जो याद रखना है, the pollen grains are transferred from the anther to the stigma of a flower on either in the same flower or a different flower of the same plant. Examples: orchid, sunflower, hibiscus. Cross-pollination, the anthers from the flower are transferred to the stigma of a flower on a different plant but same species. Example, papaya, apple, cucumber, anything you can write. Give 2 examples where toxins are used to prepare vaccines. Tetanus, diphtheria. Neat and label diagram of the male gamete. So sperm. So if you have drawn a pollen grain, no, it is incorrect. Because pollen grain is not a male gamete. Pollen grain के अंदर होता है male gamete, right? The diagram given below shows a series of organisms. तो यहाँ पर food web लिखा ही था question paper में. So it was just given to confuse you कि तुम लोग उसको देख करके समझ पा रहे हो कि नहीं समझ पा रहे. So those who were smart, they wrote food web and define it. So food web constitutes of many food chains that are interconnected with each other. That is the process you had to identify over here. And if someone has written it, it represents, because the process is given over here. So if someone has written that it is the transference of food from one organism to another through a sequence of eating and being eaten, that is also correct. What do the various links shown here represent? They represent food chains. Name the organism at the start of the link. You can mention any producer. You can write producer, or you can write a tree or shrub or grass or fungi, whatever is there. So you can write anything over here that belongs to a producer. Identify one primary consumer and any one tertiary consumer from this diagram. So primary consumer can be deer, it can be rabbit, it can be grasshopper, it can be squirrel. So these are primary consumers. Now you have to identify a tertiary consumer. So this lion, mountain lion, the snake, the hawk, all these constitute the tertiary consumers. So you can mention any one of them. Explain the term implantation. After fertilization, when the egg attaches itself to the wall of the uterus, it is termed as implantation. Causative agents, measles ka rubella virus, chikungunya ka alpha virus. How is predation different from parasitism? Predation में एक predator होता है, एक prey होता है. Predator kills the prey for its food, whereas in parasitism, there is a parasite which depends on its living host for its food. It derives the nutrition from its living host. That is the difference. Predator kills their prey, whereas parasites do not kill their prey. They just keep on taking nutrition from their living host. This figure represents a bisexual flower. Redraw it. So you had to draw it and you had to label all the parts. So this part, C part is stamen, A part is petal, B part is sepal. And here when you draw the missing gynoecium, you label it stigma, style and ovary. So 1 mark for these 3 labels, the labels which are already, the alphabets which are already mentioned, and 1 mark for drawing this and labeling it. The diagram of the female, the organs of female reproductive system. This is fallopian tube, or oviduct is also correct. Ovary, uterus and vagina. How is part A different in function from vas deferens in males? Fallopian tube is the passage through which egg travels from the ovary to the uterus. Vas deferens is the passage through which the sperms leave the testis. So that is the difference. They both are tubes through which the respective gametes they travel, right? And it is the fallopian tube in which, if someone writes it is in fallopian tube the fertilization takes place, that is also correct. Vas deferens is the tube through which the sperms leave the testis. Where does fertilization takes place? Fertilization takes place in fallopian tube or oviduct, and the zygote develops into a baby in the uterus because it is implanted over there. Now let us come to the last question over here. Name the Name the asexual reproductive spores found in fungi, conidia, and the branches are called as conidiophores. Mention 2 ways in which essential elements are important for plants. They help in growth of plant, they provide necessary nutrition. If they are deficient, they can cause various disorders. Any of these 2 you can mention. Association between algae and fungi in a lichen called, it is called as symbiosis or mutualism. Give another example. So we see mycorrhiza is present in the roots of higher plants. These fungi, they get food from the plant, and in turn they help the plants to uptake phosphate and nitrates from the soil as fertilizers. Chlorophyll content of leaves has no role to play in determining the rate of transpiration. Justify his statement. Absolutely correct, because the rate of transpiration depends on these factors: temperature, humidity, sunlight, wind, soil, the amount of water present in the soil. It has nothing to do with how much chlorophyll is present in the leaves. Okay. The image shows a child being injected with a substance. Based on this, answer the few questions. Name and define the process shown above. You can write vaccination, or you can write it is a part of immunization process. So, vaccination is actually administering the vaccine. So, it shows here a child is being injected with a substance. So, a better answer is vaccination, where a vaccine is being administered to a person so that their immune system is strengthened. This process by which the various people are made immune to infectious diseases is the immunization. So vaccination, generally immunization happens through vaccination. So understand this, immunization is the entire process through which a person is made immune to certain diseases, whereas vaccination is the actual administering of the vaccine to the person. So it can be through syringes, or it is oral polio vaccine, as we saw over here. Which type of immunity is developed in the child? What is the immunity developed in the child? It is acquired immunity. Write the substance introduced in the child. Excuse me. It is vaccine. What is the substance that is being given to the child? It is a vaccine. What is developed in the body after the process mentioned one takes place? It is antibodies developed in the body. So some have written immunity, but how does it? ये तो already दे दिया ना, which type of immunity is developed. What is developed in the body after the process is mentioned? कि क्या जा रहा है ये vaccine जाने से antibodies develop होती हैं, and how is it beneficial for the body? They destroy the foreign pathogens which enter our body, so they help us to fight against diseases. That is what should have been written. Expand the abbreviation OPV, oral polio vaccine. Mention the significance of any two abiotic components. Wind hai, air hai, water hai, soil hai, humidity. You could have used any of these abiotic components. And wind है वो dispersal में help करता है seeds और fruits के, transpiration में help करता है. एयर जो है एक अर्थ को प्रोटेक्टिव ब्लैंकेट देती है, रेस्पिरेशन, फोटोसिंथेसिस, वाटर, बहुत सारी एक्वेटिक लाइफ इज सीन इन वाटर, एंड फॉर सेवरल ह्यूमन रिक्वायरमेंट, फॉर इंडस्ट्रियल रिक्वायरमेंट्स वाटर इज नीडेड. Soil serves as an anchor for plants. It has got several nutrients which help in the growth of plants, and it is also habitat to several organisms. So humidity controls the rate of transpiration. Then there are mosses and lichens that absorb the moisture directly. Their water requirements, they do not have roots, remember, they have rhizoids. So, or no such thing as in lichens, you do not see any structure which is root like. So they absorb the moisture directly from the atmosphere. So any of these two you could have written, and you will get marks for that. Give any two characteristic features of wind pollinated flowers. The pollens are light and dry. A large number of pollens are produced, and the stigma is feathery in order to trap the pollens floating in the air. Any two you can write. Gopal's grandfather was on his morning walk when a stray dog attacked him and bit him. Mention two first aid measures that must be taken in this case. So first and foremost, we have to wash the wound again for a long period of time, then dry the area. You can always also elevate the injured part. And anti-rabies injection. Anti-rabies vaccine नहीं भाई, anti-rabies injection दिया जाता है. Okay. So first part A, it exhibits transpiration. Definition of transpiration. What is transpiration? It removes excess water from the plants. It is the evaporation, it is the loss of water excess water from the plants in form of water vapors. What is the significance of the process? एक तो excess water को हटा देता है, surrounding को cool करता है, plus ये जो है transpirational pull create करता है. So a lot of things are happening. You can give any one significances. Okay. Because it is all of 1 mark. What do the direction of arrows in B and C indicate? Name the phenomena. So it is the ascent of sap, you can write, or it is transportation of water, that also you can write. So this direction shows that the water is moving from the soil into the plant. It is unidirectional, right? Remember, ये दिस कंडक्शन जाइलम वेसल्स जो है ये एक ही डायरेक्शन में लेकर के जाते हैं, जबकि फ्लोएम का जो होता है वो दैट इज बाई डायरेक्शनल, वो ऊपर भी जाता है नीचे भी जाता है. लेकिन जो असेंट ऑफ सैप है दैट इज व्हाई इट इज कॉल्ड एज असेंट, बिकॉज इट इज मूविंग अपवर्ड, और द ट्रांसपोर्टेशन ऑफ वाटर इज ऑलवेज इन द अपवर्ड डायरेक्शन, नेवर इन द डाउनवर्ड डायरेक्शन. ऑलराइट, सो दैट इज दैट फॉर our solutions. Hope you were able to find your answers. Thank you so much for watching.